Good morning. We start with Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga from the small booklet. From the heart of the Savior of 100 deities of Tushita, on a peak of cloud resembling a clam of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dharma, omniscient Losandrapa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on a lion throne, lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit for my mind of faith, please abide for 100 yons to spread the teachings. Your holy mind has the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its excellent explanations is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you who are meaningful to see, hear, and remember, I prostrate. Pleasing drinking water, various flowers, fragrant incenses, lice, scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated, I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows that I have collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practice in this degenerate age, and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the 8 worldly concerns. Savior, we sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect pure holy gurus from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of the Dharmakaya, please let fall a rain of profound and extensive Dharma upon the receptacle of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I have collected benefit the teachings and all transmigratory beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losan Drapa's teachings to shine forever. Sajipaki Chushing Medok Tramari Rablishi Ni de Gyempadi Sange Jindu Mi de Ulwa Idrokunamada Shinlai Chuparsho. By the merits of having offered this mandala to Lama Tsongkhapa and his 2 sons, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teachings of the victorious one Losandrapa, who had the morality of an eminently pure way of life, was courageous in the extensive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of the 2 stages of supreme bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of the perfect pure Father and Son, and combining into one enter my crown. White nectar, the color of milk, flows from the opening of the tube of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. Now we recite 5-line Miktsema 3 times. Migme tsewe terchen chen resik dreamek yempe wampo jampe liang dupo malu jonze sanwe dak kanchen kepe tsungen songkapa losan drape shabla solwade Migme tsewe terchen chen rezik dreamek yempe wampo jampe liang dupo malu jonze sanwe dak ganchen gepe tsungen tsongkapa losan drape shabla solwade Migme tsewe terchen chen rezik dreamek yempe wampo jampe liang dupo malu jonze sanwe dak ganchen kepe tsungen tsongkapa losan drape shabla solwade.
당기 주당 소진 총놈라 장주 바르다는 캡순지 다기 주시 예원的다 라람베제 상진 주버쇼 상기 주당 소진 총놈라 장주 바르다는 캡순지 다기 주시 예원的다기 라람베 상진 주버쇼 상기 저당 소진 총놈라 장주 바르다는 잡순 다기 주제 제반데 다기 롤람베 상진 저바르쇼 강기 두즈니 손에 다와 탐제 밤비처럼 담비춘 된제 고동텔라 창셀로 시신 경건자회 로드도 계산나외 gen주 레시 수타베 베질라메 제베 돈데 템베 돈덴 라장셀 나무라이 깨달로다노 제게 투본다다 미 깨달도 군지다노 지점 탐제게 두다기 주된도 Good morning everyone. Not yet chambal penda. Shopatile chambala.
Madhulegi.
Tanganzu namji demodenare chushenare tenichi kanji namba sanji bi chuchin gotsu ondi ane sanji chu gendu sum de tengo das.
So usually if we recite some scriptures or if we have to teach someone with regard to Buddhist teachings, it's always necessary to start with the remembering of our three jewels or triple gem.
Dadi dan karso da namba sanji bi da chuki da zawachik nedun chagi yorasra 산지추 겐두숨디
And with regard to Buddhist teachings or Buddhist tradition, actually this is the root to and it's the main point to remember the three jewels.
테니 개체슈질라야 산지추 겐두숨 nguenzin 고야티 데베 개칭 부차가 어렸다 nguenzin 치야티 먼저 레탕보가 지임바나 테니 산지기 추디 추단 겐둔디 산기 이게다 진럽 소리지레스더라 산지기 진럽
And here the most important thing is one should recognize the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And here the Buddha, Dharma, this Dharma and Sangha is actually the blessing of Buddha himself.
이 장부자는 통분들아
All Krishna is saying that
야
Krishna is
그치
not able to.
that's Jason's problem Thank you so much. Yeah. 다드니 상기디 가르레스. 상기디. 다 응아서 줄룩 마무다 줄룩 소소소 그지. 다 하선는다 템버선는다 딘지 킬링이어라다. 망체기지 랑기 캡추사기 라디 지 란종 소르지. 토모메바니 여디여로지. 아니 지금 탐제 빼 디기 가서다 지금 수에서 남는데 디기 지 남줄래 때는 종사 교소라지 딘디시거라서 얘는 남바 산지비기 아니 템바 산지 딘디제만 다스라 남바 산지비 템바 산지디 되니 지당기 다 셔서 마시나 지당기 미지야 끼치네 아니 미 남주체 미지기 장대용에 아니 미지기 되니 삼로 땅니 아니 상기에 세지 딘디지레 도스라 데르타 간지 상기 좀된 데데 아니 고 규든 깬을 때니 종사교 시바디 시거레스더로 차그여레스더 시거를 말도 차그여레스
Here, as we are talking about Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and what do you mean by Buddha? And here in this world, we have so many religion and religious practitioners also. And all religious practitioners, actually, they have their own teacher or master. So most of the religious practitioner and most of the religion or the religious practitioner, they believe that all the teacher, the main teacher, they, just comes naturally or without any causes and conditions. This teacher actually give teachings, and they believe that they are God, and this God is something they come naturally to this world and give teachings, and all other maybe we are talking about all other transmigrators, all these are actually the emanation of these teachers. Actually, this teacher has uh, made all these transmigrators and all other worlds. With regard to Buddhist tradition, especially the Buddha himself, uh, he is not like there from the very beginningless time. Buddha himself was people like us, common people, and uh, at that time he was very truthful, and he has traveled, or first he was common people, then study, hear, contemplate, and meditate, and later uh, he was enlightened. He became full. He attained the state of Buddhahood. So what I'm trying to say here is Buddha himself, historical Buddha, he became Buddha uh, through many causes and conditions. These causes and conditions actually because of many causes and condition arises in the continuum of uh, historical Buddha, and later he attained Buddhahood. That's
다간지 상기 규나 견을 때니 종약이 규긴기 돌아 상로지 땅바나 되는 넘버 상기 비고 최들이야 조여 주로식 간지 균센 통여 주직 차그레스더로 디 당이 신디 조드 되다 상기 게 규긴디 간다질 때니 상기 메기 돌아 상로지 땅바나 되니 오늘다 디약분도 삼성직 로 수분이 간사지만 된디지 소 시버도 소 초버도 저스더라
with regard to Buddha Shakyamuni, as I mentioned earlier, that he became Buddha uh, through many hardships, or through the arising of many causes and conditions. So if we can think all those causes and conditions, then it will be nice. So then one can understand, or because of these causes and conditions, Buddha himself attained Buddhahood, complete Buddhahood. And then actually we can see the reasons why he became Buddhahood, why he became Buddha. So then when you think about Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, then we can actually you can taste something here. So if you have some kind of intelligent mind, then of course you can think about the all these causes condition this which act as the and later actually Buddha himself attained Buddhahood, or complete Buddhahood. Yes.
상기의 규ging 조디 냠탑이 심진기 대야 직 잠경의 상을 때니 상기여랬다 자와디 냠탑이 심진려야 잠경 제단의 상로저라 디베 잠경 아니 로저라 디 아니 콤벨도 땅을 때니 아니 좀 된디 상기여랬다
With regard to Buddha, how he has attained complete Buddhahood, as we were talking about this main, some causes and conditions. So what are these causes and conditions? So the main cause here is, the love and compassion. towards all sentient beings. So all these sentient beings are suffering from some kind of painful physical pain or mental pain. So by increasing this love and compassion, by generating or by developing these love and compassion towards all the sentient beings who are being suffering because of development of this love and compassion, actually, then Buddha, Shakyamuni, historical Buddha, has attained Buddhahood.
Dion Chosara, Dion Chosara, Pena Zambelingi, G Mansok Gotri Yakshi Dige, Kanda Chavers, the Mansok Deduglaya, Gain Kingage, Mansok Deduglaya, Sound Tangi, Midi, Mansok Gotri Yakshi, the Chador Rasara. The Chagor, the Mansok Gotri Yakshi, the Mansok Dedulaya Samlutan, Susu Gedin my Samba, Mansok Dedu, the Mansok Genkin Leondi, Teni Midi, Mansok Gotri Yakshut, Samitsi Gurchis and Gotri the Chawar, the Nanshin of the Resra. Any Nyam Tabi Sumjingi, Dedulaya Samlutanchi, Tigi, any Devodriata, Dungar Sagi, gained the Susu Kitchen. Teni tallega cheondi ani sangiagi gyud teni yongogdos.
This is probably something it is possible with regard to generating generating love and compassion and developing this love and compassion so that one can attain complete Buddhahood. For example, in this world that people are electing their leader. So with regard to this leader, uh, this leader actually has some qualities of maybe taking responsibility and always thinking about the welfare of the population, welfare of other people, and not only thinking about oneself. If that leader thinks only about oneself, then you know that leader is not so good. So the leader must have some kind of quality, like like taking responsibility and you know thinking only about the population or thinking only about others' welfare. Then we can say that this leader is uh, very good, and people, of course, people will like this kind of leaders like that. So if we can generate love and compassion towards towards all the sentient beings, and if we kind of generate love and compassion towards all the sentient beings, because all the sentient beings are suffering. So if we are kind of act in such a way, if we can do like that, then we are actually accumulating the causes and conditions to attain full Buddhahood, to attain the complete Buddhahood, the state of Buddha. Yes.
Rata Mansok Deduglaya Samlutangi Midi Gotik Chayagi Timang Yorasra Mansok Deduglaya Samlutangi Mansok Genki Dingi Midi Miyagatsirosra. Sorry.
And if there is some person who thinks only about the other sentient beings, then and who has that person can take responsibility on about others and thinking only about others, and we can say that that person or that particular person is, is very good.
Tinashingi, that jumped in the Lavalamgi Negoso, Simjingi Dedulaya, Deduk Bashi Laya Samlutan, Simjinlaya Tsevameva, Nyamtabi Simjinlaya Maneba, Pembi Chavan Bashi, Samlutan Drondi, and Sangi Oresta, Sangi Orest, some Ditangal then Sangi Oresta.
Likewise, historical Buddha, when he was like us, common people, and at that time, he always thinks about the welfare of, sentient beings. Since sentient beings, all the sentient beings are suffering from, all the sentient beings are suffering, and he was acting in such a way that always tries to help other sentient beings or other people, and tries to generate love and compassion, and develop this love and compassion towards all sentient beings.
Pena Tuda number Gundu to some Shigiyabati, Kanda Jahako Res Laundi, Chumden de Toma, Tsultrim says Songrada, Megichibung Tsultrim. Megichibung Tsultrim di Jenla never Manuya Bashik the Sonsa Gedoch. Jenla Manu Chavakat Chiva di Rana Pengi or Estara, Rana Pembi Chava Chavada. Tindigi Yamsambut, Kanji, so Shenla Mixin, Shenla Mixin. 아니 수중기 라바티 송열했다.
Then naturally the question arises how this can happen, and how, you know, the Buddha Shakyamuni, when he was like us, common people, he always tries to help other sentient beings, other beings. How actually one can understand, how we can understand. So this is something we can understand through the whatever he, is teaching us, or he is leading such a life. And from that life, we can understand actually. Um, because he taught us this very basic thing, that the discipline or ethical discipline. So here, ethical discipline regard to 10, virtuous actions. So if we practice this 10 virtuous actions, then then by practicing these, one will not harm others. So if we don't harm others, if one person, that practice these 10 virtuous actions, then what happens is that it will actually help oneself by not harming others. Actually, it is creating or accumulating merits towards oneself. So by that, we can understand that Buddha Shakyamuni, historical Buddha, you know, has been practicing this ethical discipline for many years.
제 메기주봉 철을 마시는데 속주바 마지막 램바 마상주바 로임 라소바 안두시온디 그래서 참말로 자와 참말로 셴는 네비기 자와 견제 자고 알아서
And with regard to 10 non-virtuous actions, for example, like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and so forth. So if you think about all these 10 non-virtuous actions, this is something that, always, uh, by acting, by, doing this kind of, action, then actually we are harming other sentient beings. We are harming, others.
근데 안zo 도진바나 셴라 니비 자와 제 초마레스 셴나 롱마레스 라바이나 로라 마숑완도지 라 소수글기 아니 지 네거브 개변지기 토네 아니 셴라 니비 자와 제고 총나야 가신 쪼진 아니 제지 힘거라서 산좀데 딘디제문 딘디 마인자 젬바시기 쳐도 싸움 담을 때네 상기여버디 야시자 담버레스
So if we think about ourselves, if there is some profit is there, then what we will do is, even if we have to harm others, we will harm others so that, we can gain something out of that situation. But historical Buddha, he always think only about the welfare of other sentient beings. Because of this very, mental attitude, and he actually attained this Buddhahood, whereas people like us, we are in this state always. We haven't, attained Buddhahood.
베지 딘디도지 레 딩이다가스 계정부를 통해서 랍샤바인스라 안자랑서 조연의 당로시스
So I felt that it's important to give some kind of introduction here. So if you have some questions, please, let's start with question and answer.
Yep.
So would an approach be to first abstain from harming others, and then this leads to benefiting others? Because it's kind of easier to refrain from harming than benefiting, I find.
Sorry, can you repeat it once more, please?
Would it be best to start with refraining from harming others, and then that naturally leads to benefiting others?
No,
It seems easier to refrain from harm than...
refrain. No, understood. Thank you.
Yeah.
당한주 미션리야 네바 마체슨 시기로스. 단 네바 마체다 아니 미션라 펜도 체세 당문이래야 미션라 네바 체에도 아니 디젤이야 미션리야 펜도나 아니 디 레라와도 요사레스 디 레베스.
데려와서 야시자 담바 페마도는 네 마치세 뭔가 까담부터 전주성 것들아 신라 페마도는 네 마치세 송고여레스 데려다 당보 수중 글라바 송원데네 신라 네바 시당 제바 dombi dombas lagoras songoras ra
Yes, that's correct. It's 100% right. Usually, Kadamba masters are saying that if you cannot help to others, at least don't harm others. And with regard to ethical discipline, what we normally say is this ethical discipline is you know so here actually we are saying that actually we need to turn away from harm others along with its basis. So here, along with its basis refers to its causes, or maybe I can say in other words, like abandoning the intention to harm others together with its root cause. So when we talk about this ethical discipline, we have to think like that.
Thank you. Thank you.
데려다 대자 다치 내마 케이슬라온디 먼저 로라 마숑얀다오티 내체 모롱야게 균센지 통바이나 되는 내 마기 슬라바이나 샘라 때 인다 인삼삼더지 이기러서라 내버치 모롱이 균센 만토나 아니 내마 젠라 내 마치 슬라바이나 아니 켈렌 투고 말다 대등 문이러서라
So when we say don't harm others, this is something that sometimes it's quite difficult to believe. Why I don't, why I should not harm others? Why is it like that? So here actually we need to understand why, what is the reason why I should not harm others. So if you are kind of, understand the reason, why I should not harm others, then usually we will not harm others. If there is no reason, or if you cannot see the reasons, then naturally we feel that why, if I harm others, then what happens? What is there? So we keep on thinking like that. Yes.
베나 데 지용 찬의 셰바나 셰원디 셴라 네 머롱에 네버치 머로에 균젠디 랑라캉 여바디 셴라 데니 총와인자 아니 셴라 네버치 랑고 마레스 데라 균젠도 아스라 랑라캉 고바 캉 여바디 타나 수수기 아니 르소순제니 셴라 데니 총바인자 아니 셴라 네버치나 머롱완지
So generally speaking, we should not harm others. The main reason here is whatever that you have, even your own, this body, and, this very life is actually given by others. So all of this, whatever you possess, all of this actually is, dependent with dependent with others. It's because of others' love and kindness or love and compassion that actually you have this body and this very life. This might be one of the main reason here.
직니 랑길룰라 벨롱라 젠 네버 마치 직송은 견제직 소소라 춘네버 땅바이나 디기문도 디삼로 다니 디기메바이나 젠 네버 치나 민디비 견제직바 딘디기 토니 다셴 네버 쳔모로 견제직 송라스라
And there might be another reason that if somebody harm to you, then what happens to your body and mind? You will get some kind of pain and your mental peace will not be there. So like that, other person, if you happen to harm other person, then, same person, that person will feel same way, like he or she will have pain with regard to body and mental peace will not be there. So other reason might be like this.
Dagdundu dungar mending injilaya, dungar tebayna, wish samacha masongas, tilawarda. Dungar mending injilaya, dungar tebayna, pigi yuldan tumbachik, rongwachik chag masong, chagwa mares. Murunga chawachik chebayna, murungarwada. Murunga tindiji dubchawada, duguarasra. Dagdundu jik dewa dunginjilaya, dungar tebayna, tele kyang marunga. Tsawa nini marunga mwe bachi chawa chaga wanza ani ne bachi rungu mundu o disungu warda.
Especially, you know, other person or other sentient beings. If that sentient being, those sentient beings, they do not want suffering. So if we harm others, especially to those sentient beings who do not want suffering, then at that time, if we harm others, actually it leads to suffering. So this is not the right way to do. So if we act in such a way where, uh, if we act, wrong action, then actually it's not the right way to do. So then maybe in another way we can think like since all the sentient beings want happiness, this is something we know. And on top of that, if we harm others, actually it will bring more sufferings. So this is something one should not uh, give, or one should not provide unhappiness or suffering towards that particular person or towards that sentient beings. Actually, in reality, he or she wants happiness. So this might be the one of the reasons one should not harm others. One should not harm others, so that if we harm others, then it affects or it results the suffering of that particular sentient being or that particular person.
Tira da chawa murunga ji chebayna, tiki drebudi yagachi, drebudi marunga ji, mundeba ji legiri mado, deba chi da, deba ji lesig mares. Kazun gyud marunga ji chesar wasra. Tize, tiki drebudi gyu chawa marunga chebi drebu, ani mwe ba mansan ba ge, drebu ji susu nyangu yaba thongbayna, ani chawa di chesa mara wasra. O dindigi thongni, shenla nibi chawa che marunga dhugu warada.
So if we do like some kind of wrongful action, then its result will be not so nice. This is something very clear. So again, if we act in such a way that actually, if we do wrongful action, then it will create, or the result is something that we do not wish for, we do not want, since its cause is something not nice, its cause is something unsuitable, then of course the result will be unsuitable and something we do not wish for or something we do not want. So if we kind of understand these situations, then we will not act, we will not do the wrongful action, as we understand that wrongful action leads to unwanted, where you will be in unwanted situation and uncomfortable situation. So if we understand all this, then of course, we will not, harm others.
다 링가시기 다 수수기 디기 데둑체도 젠라 동안지 맞더니 용거라서 젠라 네버시에더니 용거라 디 텔레잠 머로와 다 마베바 마탕비 자와지 차거다 장부 메비 자와지 장부 메비 자와칭이 미디 미 장부 메교 들어다 미 마랍 차거다 라 텐상간수 미 마랍 첸 등잉 미교 마랍 레스 라바이나 아니 데바 용의 수치가 요 말하다 텐자 딘디 토니야 아니 젤라 네비 차와디 제롱고만 뒀어 제난 지금만 뒀다 제난 지금만 뒀어라
So there are some person who, act, who harm others, so that one can gain some kind of profit. So this is actually not the right thing to do, since this is not the truthful action. So actually, you can say it's not a kind-hearted action. So this is yes, this is not a kind-hearted action. And especially, if some other people say something bad towards you, that, some other person say, you are not kind-hearted people, then this is something that we don't want to listen at all. So likewise, if we harm others, actually it leads to unhappy, it leads to suffering to that particular person, then this is something that we should not do such things, because in the end it creates the kind of situation, or it creates the environment where you yourself are in pain, you yourself are suffering, and other people are suffering too. Yes.
텐상간수 미 장부직다 미 장부직 치나 미 참마기 가 가메요사 미지 차거더라 미 장부치세야디 쪼데르스다 랑기 데두기체도 젠라 아니 네버 만칭이 미디 장부랬다 소수 데워 쪽으로 동아 세 쪽으로 배전 가리는 체조 내가 가리는 이는 셴런데 비 자와치야기 톱당 되어 말하다 랑라 톱당 메비 자와디 샤니 아니 자와치야디 장부가 자와들었다 장부가 자와디 근데 덴바세야디 무유 내수던 tum비기 자와직 제기 바이나 덴바랬다 덴바 쓰고다 장딩기 미세 간지 좀 된데 되지 차고다 산지 좀 된데 아니 장부 장장 덴바 된장 제는 정이지 계제 가리는 덴바시에 통해 내가 가리는 장부치에 통해 딘디지로 하다 딘디지 고고 살았다 오늘 좀 딘디지 좀 봐놨다 다 기부 쉬우였었다 메시지
So generally speaking, of course, all of us should, be honest and truthful person. And if we are honest, then other people will, of course, praise us. And other person will like us and they want to go with us. This is something, quite natural. So when I say one needs to be an honest person, and it doesn't mean that one should harm others for the sake of one's own interests, or for the sake of happiness oneself. I'm not saying here like that. Of course, we have the right to be happy. We have the right to, do whatever actions that we can do. We have all the rights, especially, we have right to do a job. We have, uh, we have all the right, you know, to do some kind of job. And when we do that particular job, it's very important to be an honest person at that particular time, so that one will not act in such a way that you harm others. So when we say truth, then what we are saying here is, if something is in accordance with like reality, then we can say this is the truth. So with regard to Buddha Shakyamuni, historical Buddha, he is like, always he talks truthful, and whatever he does is, in accordance with the truth, and he is an honest person. So like that, we should also do like that. We should always try to, emulate, or we should try to do like that. So if we are able to do like that, like telling always truth, whatever your profession might be, if you act in a such a way, then if you are truthful to yourself, then I can say that your life will be very happy. You will lead such a life where there is no problem at all. Yes.
ngāntu mēzē nā mājīwa māngshū jīgdi sēmbā dhirā, sēmbā mājīwa yungu rā. Sēmbā mājīwa jīgdi tōkpa dhāng, ngāmrā dhāng, tēnī jīgnā lā sōpa, tēndī māngbō shū yungu rā sā rā. Tōsū tsāma yōngyā kī kianzā jīgdi 아니 당부 마치와 덴바 마치와 무유 네츠다 만tum비기 차와치데디 테니 pero kechaina ta demba mashabana zuma jikshabana ani zuma shetsa jela yangya zuma shere mato demba shesa jigyo marata teni sem nalole madeva makiba ngamrala soba ta yungu yorasra ta changbu changjang demba denjang nguyo nisu thumba chik samlo tang rotu bayna teni ngamran jingna kanya yosa maresta midi sem naloya bhag pepu shuchik.
So generally speaking, in our life, we have to suffer a lot with regard to physical pain, and also mind or mental peace is not there. So there are many situations we feel unhappy. So why we feel unhappy? It's because of, it actually depends on the attitude of our mind. Since if we if we have doubt, and like maybe, and uh, doubt and so forth, all the negative emotions that is being uh, there in our mental continuum, these cause us, unsuffering and all other problems. So maybe we can think like that. Why we have to suffer a lot? Why we feel unhappy most of the times? Because we are not truthful to ourselves, and we are acting in such a way that is not in accordance with the situation, or not in accordance with the reality. So if we act in such a way, then it will lead unhappiness or we have to suffer. For example, if we tell lies to some other people, then to cover that lie, we have to tell more lies. Then again, to cover that second lies, we are saying again one lie. So by telling lies, actually, you are creating a situation or you are creating an environment where, of course, at the very first moment you are telling lie. This is actually accumulating non-virtuous actions, and to other person too, you are harming. So that's why we are suffering a lot. And maybe you can think opposite if you tell, always truthful truth. If you do, such kind of action where it in accordance with the reality, then you will not feel uneasiness in your mental continuum. So you will feel happy, and most of the times, you don't have to suffer.
What about the harm of taking intoxicants and addiction?
아니
야,
난다가 좀 내타당 다가나 시치니 아직 타마당 drugs인데 여러 니 덴디기 아니 롱스 쳐발라 테니 아니 랑일이야 누기도 와스 다 덴소 칸데레스
꼰다 가르사.
타마 내다이네 레 drugs이네 레 아니 덴소 롱스 쳐발라 테니 아니 네바키기로와스 누기로와스 덴소 아니 덴소
그래.
칸데이나스
계속 간다 있는 딱 갈라 버다.
그디 수수 랑일 누기로와스
야, 야.
랑다신 이걸 누기를
누구라.
응.
대야고 말어 와다. 대야고 말어 와다.
네.
등이 실은 고쳐 맞아. 저거 간다듯이 딴 거예요.
Okay, Geshe feels that, of course, it harms by taking these intoxicants, and it's not the right way to act. So, what is your question?
No further question.
No question. 아, 다지당 양수 다디디 다 총점 제등에 도속이 소속이 제도 중국어라서라. 드니 다 미르치기 배주 치거다. 가스나 기부 명언이다. 니 서로 발라야 제도 내가 바 라야 배주 치거다. 니는 니 타둘라 소속이 샘 파샤는 류코나 trolla 딴 거라서라. 네 산지 좀 된 디기 랍샤 나올이야. 다직 뒤 남이야. 아니 직 특별지야. 아니 똥마 다 물어마지레스. 송여라스라.
So, here we need to think that, of course, those person who sells this intoxicant or drugs, maybe I should use this, to someone else, of course, that particular person, he or she is selling these drugs, it's okay. Last time we talked about it all depends on motivation. And with regard to who takes these intoxicants, of course, at that particular time, a temporary happiness is there, but ultimately, it will harm. uh, it will harm to your own body. This is something we all know. And with regard to Buddha Shakyamuni advises or gave clear instruction with regard to this drugs and intoxicant things. Even a single drop of these intoxicant things are not allowed. One should not drink or one should not take these kind of intoxicant things.
디 균생 카르레스 라운데 자원니는 모로의 균생 카르레스 라운데 디 이게 샘 tru약이 깬치 거다. 먼저 샘 tru약이 깬치 거다. 로. 지땅게 먼저 샘 tru약이 때 게망부 쇼지 먼저 샘을 열어다. 다 디가는 냄비소를 차도다. 다샘 tru바이나 자와 마롱아 참 제용거랬다. 다 자와 마롱아지 마도 샘 tru니 자와 양다가 제지 용기요 말하다. 제 롱아지 제 투가 맞다. 제 모롱아 샤다 제로다. 샘 tru로디 틴자 아니 단다 디기티 롱제 롱금도스. 퇴베레샤스로 베나 레디 퇴베레샤스 당간졸이야. 동아 퇴베 동아 송이 퇴베지레샤스. 데사고금도스.
So why is this? What is why we should not take all these intoxicant things? What is the reason behind that? Why Buddha Shakyamuni gave such instructions? It's because if you take that intoxicant, then actually it will lead to unhappiness in your mental continuum. Usually there are many causes and conditions which leads to unhappiness or suffering of the mental suffering. If we have been suffering a lot, on top of that we take such kind of intoxicant things or drugs, then it will give you more unhappiness, or you will end up in a situation where you have to suffer more. And this also, if you're if you are mentally not stable, then what happens is you will do unwanted things. So you will act in not the right way. So if your mental is not stable, then I'm sure that you will not be able to do the right thing. So maybe we can think like by taking intoxicant things, it will bring more suffering. So this more suffering is something that we do not want. What we want is happiness. Yes.
지당기 네버 딘딜라야 지당기 나와 딘디 제여스다 좀 딘디 디치나 나사게 체도치 남기 삼으로 딘디 베나랍도 좋아하겠다 아니 뭐로 딘디야 이나연 까우깔에 나와 제샤 딘디 용구여레스 임바이나야 다지 단데 디기 디레들이야 창라서버 디기 아니 라스 중에 샘충 중에 카지기 지저라 자와 니는 나와 메세송여라스라 간선의 샘 주고래 샘 주고나 모롱이 자와 상마 제 주고래 장딩이 자와 아니 지 장부다 뎀바 생인디 큐니 제모등이지 차도거다 티 모롱아 저랬지 간지 아니 미기 토모마이 남주 장부다 뎀바 지 아니 랍친 제토야 니버 상마 초도고 여반사 롱문도 세거다
Generally speaking, Buddha Shakyamuni actually gave some kind of maybe I can say that if you are suffering from some illness, at that time you can take particular food or particular medicine, and especially to monastic orders or sangha members, you can take some kind of food. But with regard to this intoxicant things, where it leads by taking that intoxicant, you know, that generally what happens is it will, lead to the unstable of this mental is your mental situation becomes very unstable. So that's why there is in such case where Buddha Shakyamuni said that okay, you are allowed to take this intoxicant. There is no such case. The main reason here is if you take that intoxicant thing, then what happens is your mental stability is not there. Since your mental stability is not there, then one will not act in a truthful way. And then we cannot talk about truth because our very own this intelligence at that particular time, uh, I mean, when you take that intoxicant, then your this brain or this intelligence doesn't work at all. So at that time, you end up doing many wrongful actions, and it will create more unhappiness and more suffering. So that's why Buddha Shakyamuni clearly gave instruction that one should not take uh, you know one should not enjoy intoxicant things.
More questions? Maybe one, two. 야들이다. 락돈도 닌디인 거다디. 다지 좀 된디기 진주체체. 좀 된디기 땡샤비기 양답이 람. 아니 뎀비 니루 쳐야져라다. 텔라 하게 되니 리버 총부다. 지 로 술분 네바 딘디고 거라다. 디 용야라야 아니 링컴 디 짱마다 데오고고다. 틴자 아니 두두 짱마 트라와 당샤버스. 학돈도 좀 된디기 진주친 rab도 총연sol야 시우지 미세지니 까고야 균센데 텔투기어라스라.
So since we are followers of Buddha Shakyamuni, or I can say that all the followers of Buddha Shakyamuni, and these followers actually seeking the nature of reality. And what do you mean by nature of reality? So we try to understand all these things. To understand the nature of reality, actually one's own intelligence should be very clear. I guess only intelligent person is able to seek the nature of reality. What is the meaning of nature of reality? And on top of that, our body should be also fit and fine. By by taking these intoxicant things, I'm sure that your body will body will be uh, not in a good situation, and on top of that, your intelligence or your brain will not work at that particular time, since at that time you are intoxicated by that intoxicant things or the drugs. That's why Buddha Shakyamuni, clearly gave instruction that if you are gave instructions to monastic orders or sangha members that one should not take intoxicant things or drugs. One should not use that. So that might be the main reason here.
그러는 내든 쪼디 샘 축도간서 샘 축나 롱문다스라 되다 더샘 만투야기 탑시 직디 아 그나 세주고 돈이잖아 아니 세 릭지기다 샘 축도야 되서 사야바까 되니 샘 그돈이 셔바나 아니 착당게 로락바쇼 지기바 아니 완전 로데야 팁 가야기 탑시래야 아니 땡긴즈 공야티 되니 지 로락바 쇼 온도 마송와 땡긴즈 또비 샘 찌지도 니 투비 가라야 되니 지 샘데다 가서다 세우당 되니 지 뉴슈 쳔보 아니 용야라야 아니 셔럽 공야티 딘디송고다스라 테르타 딘디로 체고서 당건즈 넘버 사인 기비 최체발야 다 domshilaya 딘디지 용도 고고사레스 딘디 야고 차고서다 데모도 깔카버다다
So here the main point is one should not, use that intoxicant things so that it will not, our mental situation, our mind remain at peace. So if you happen to take that intoxicant things, then it will actually create where our mental peace is not there. Then, generally speaking, how one should remain in a peaceful state, how one should guard against all the negative emotions. So one thing is we should not take the food and other things where it leads to harming our own body and mind. And there is one more that how one should guard against this negative emotions, especially the very easily our attachment and aversion arises. How one should guard against these, how one should protect against these is that maybe we can think about practicing the meditative stabilization or concentration. If we meditate on some points, then naturally all this attachment and aversion will become lesser. And with regard to then how to increase our mental power, then at that time maybe we can meditate on or develop our mind by meditating on wisdom, especially or we can meditate on wisdom, maybe wisdom realizing emptiness or emptiness. Then these are like the foundation of Buddhism or foundation of Buddhist tradition. So if we try to follow these, then we will be in a happy state. Otherwise, it's quite difficult to remain happy most of the times. Yes.
다드니 셔럽 공부된 로야기 탑시 개체 그래서 그나 다 로종체의 임바다 로종체 로종래야 비기 퇴바 삼바 공바세티 안직 아니 삼바다 공비칼래야 공바들래야 직 세직도 샤네 공베야 직다 아니 제니 gomyage rimbani yungores. There's Jenny Gomyadi, Tivertilingalam, Suzuki, any Topakari, Yobainea, any Tivaji Kani, Tivaji Tanshabaina, any Kaukala Temata Toba the said Redoch. Yan Tanjinga Thomas side and Diresha Samson, Tindi Yungores. This same modern the Mi Pasho Magi, Mirilaya, Namjuri Yavanza, Lenchi Gavingore, Lentile Jawandi, and Suzulaya, Mixing Tobalaya. Tindi Chik Tobot, Tivertiling Lamni, and then Namchu Giant, the Hajang Kitchen Butch. Kitchen Buyore. The Tivertiling Lamni, Nedin to touch on the same layer, and Chamberlayer, they are like Kabape Yungores.
And with regard to this wisdom, how to increase our wisdom, and what are its this skillful means. And here the most important thing of how to increase our this very wisdom. Of course, the first thing is we need to study. So with regard to studying, one should be able to hear, contemplate, reflect on, and meditate on whatever subject that you have been studying. And with regard to meditation, you can, divide in. You can divide. There are two types of meditation actually. Uh, one is single pointed meditation, and another one is analytical meditation. With regard to this analytical meditation, so here Q&A or question and answer session becomes very, very important. So if you have some kind of question, then at that time you should ask question. Sometimes what happens is when you ask question, at that very moment you will get answer, some kind of answer. And there are some cases that when you ask some questions, each person has this intelligent power. So you might be asking the questions, but other students might get benefit from this. So to study the Buddhism, to study Buddhism, it's very important to have discussion with students, all students uh, and teachers. It's very important to ask questions, and it's very important to listen also. So if we ask questions, then what happens is that question or that answer will remain in our mind. So one will not be able to forget these questions and answers that have been raised in like this situation. So it's very important to ask question. Yes.
Thank you.
So today we will stop here. Thank you all.
Final Amrim prayer. From my two types of merits vasa space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a grand land of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, May I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be grounded boundless peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. And pray for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may you have a long life and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And pray for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losang father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now, holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice. You wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and for other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in a glory for fortunate disciples. Thank you very much. And we also invite you to join the meditation at 1:15 here in the Gompa, only in person, led by Venerable Lassom. And this weekend, Geshe is offering the weekend course on the 6 perfections, the practice of bodhisattvas. So if you're interested, you can find more details on the event calendar, and you're all welcome to join. Thank you so much.